So Superman releases this weekend, but is it worth your time? Don't worry, I've got your spoiler-free movie review right here. This movie tells the story of Superman as he embarks on a journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. That is not a plot that I just randomly brought up. That is what the plot synopsis is on IMDb's website. The trailer doesn't spoil too much about the plot, but there are little tidbits of information that are sprinkled throughout there, so I am going to reference things and people and characters that are in the trailer. So if you want to know nothing about this film at all, just go see it, but if you continue watching this video, I am going to reference things in that trailer. A lot of people have already asked me point blank, Nolan, what did you think about this film? And I've kind of had a difficult time answering. In today's day and age, it feels like audiences are only allowed to either love a film or hate a film. There's no middle ground. There's not allowed to be anything in between. You can't like some things and hate other things, but that's kind of how I feel about this movie. It's a bit of a mixed bag for me. But let's get into some specifics. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the things that I did like, and then we'll get into the things that I did not like. First of all, David Corenswet is excellent. Excellent as Superman. When the guy was first announced that he was going to be playing Superman, I could see the vision, but I wasn't completely sold. I didn't know much of this guy's backstory or other movies that he had been in, but he is absolutely Superman to a T. And a lot of that had to do with how James Gunn handles the character. You can feel the good that is inside of him. He really wants to be a positive influence towards humanity. He wants to save people. He doesn't want to kill anything or anyone. He wants to be a symbol for all things good. And I love that innocence that the character of Superman had. He doesn't see the bad in anybody, even the most evil people in the world. He can still see their good. He tries to save. He's not a destroyer. And I can really appreciate how James Gunn handled that aspect of the character because it just felt so right. It felt so Superman. The actress that plays Lois Lane was also excellent. I loved her dynamic with Superman, the way that they play off each other back and forth. She's kind of this reporter that wants to get the dirt on everybody, but also is hell-bent on finding out the truth of the events that have happened. And because of the way that she sees journalism, her and Superman kind of begin to butt heads a little bit because Superman is doing these things that she doesn't necessarily think are okay in the political sense, but Superman cannot understand that because he is just trying to be good. And it made for some very entertaining back and forth scenes, some of the better scenes in the entire film. The way that this movie handles Superman and politics was very well done. I'm not one to care about politics in movies all that much, but this one did it really well. Also, again, if you've seen the trailer, you know that there are additional characters that show up, such as Hawk Girl, I think is her name. Mr. Terrific is one of the other heroes' name. The Green Lantern shows up, or I don't know if he's actually the Green Lantern, but he's just someone that's a part of the Lantern Corps. I don't know. But it was also fun seeing all of those characters on screen, specifically the Green Lantern character. He was great. Lots of funny lines, lots of good moments with him. And of course, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was great casting. The dude absolutely killed it. I like Lex Luthor in this movie, but this is kind of where I'm going to pivot to some negatives that I have with the film. I didn't love his string pulling puppet master kind of thing he had going on. He's got a very big grudge against Superman, but the way that he executes that grudge, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, didn't really resonate with me all that much. Also, every time this film focuses on the main plot, it felt kind of messy. The best moments in this movie were the human moments, the small conversations, the little family moments, the moments of emotion. Those were the ones that I really got into, but the actual plot, I didn't care that much for it. Obviously, this is a Superman movie, so things are going to be larger than life. You're talking about a character that is dang near invincible, and I understand that this is a comic book movie. This is supposed to be fun and exciting and loud, and buildings are falling and people are getting saved, and it's all over the place, but I think that this film took it just a little bit too far. When I say this movie is a comic book, this movie is a comic book. And if that's your cup of tea, I totally get it. But this is cheese craziness turned up to the max. I don't want to use the word corny because that's not what this movie is. But you get what I'm saying. It felt so over the top, and things that were happening, I was just like, I don't know if this works for a movie. It might work for a comic book, but I don't know if this is working in this film. Some of the plot points and some of the places they go and some of the characters and some of the things that they do with the characters without getting into specifics, it wasn't for me. It was not working as much as I was hoping that it would. But I think you just have to know yourself. I'm a person that loves a grounded story with real, rich, deep heart and emotion, something that is grounded and feels real. I'm not all that into the over-the-top explosions craziness. I do love kind of one foot in that realism pond while the other foot is in the craziness a little bit. And this film, for the most part, goes 2 feet in crazy. But again, I can't fault it for that because it's Superman. You know, it's Superman. What do you expect? So it's kind of hard because this is the character's just not really my cup of tea. But what do you do? You know? We'll also say that some of the action scenes were a little bit disappointing. They were kind of hard to follow, and a lot of the time the camera is doing this whoosh thing where it's going all over the place, and there's not even really people on the screen. It feels like they're just CGI blobs kind of beating the heck out of each other. It reminded me of that scene in The Matrix 2 where Neo is fighting all of the Smiths, and he's just knocking them all over the place. That is some of the scenes in this movie. The CGI was pretty bad. I couldn't lie. At times, it's pretty bad. At times. But then there are other scenes, like when he's flying and there's the close-ups on his face and the environment is just whisking right by him. Those looked really good. So I don't understand where the disconnect happened, because some of the scenes look really, really good, and some of the scenes look really, really bad. And at the end of it all, even though there are some very good small moments in this film, they didn't have the emotional punch that I was hoping that they would. I don't think that this is spoilers, but James Gunn has talked openly about how he does not want to retell the origin story of Batman, of Clark Kent, of any of these heroes. He's not interested in the origin story. It's already been told. He's moving on to the next chapter. And this movie absolutely feels like it should be titled Superman 2. When it starts, it feels like you missed an entire movie, possibly even 2 movies. And because of that, for the first 30 to 50 minutes of this film, you're playing catch up with the characters. And that unfortunately caused a little bit of dragging for me because I felt like I wasn't a part of the world. I wasn't going through it with the characters. I was randomly inserted into this world and I was trying to catch up, and it became a little obnoxious. And because you're trying to catch up, there's a lot of scenes where characters are just rattling off exposition, just saying exactly what you need to know and what you need to hear, and it was very obvious. It didn't feel natural, but that, again, it comes with the terrain because they don't want to retell an origin story, and I can respect that because I don't want to see the same story that I've seen 100 times. I know what happens. I know how Clark Kent gets to Earth. I get it. But in the same voice as that, it's really hard to have an emotional pull, an emotional weight behind your film when you're not seeing the events take place. You're just being told about things. The past is never as impactful unless you lived it. If you're just being told about a story, it's never going to hit you quite as hard as if you saw it happen or you watched it happen or you lived it. That's the weird ground that this movie falls into. Me and a buddy were talking after the film was over, and it's kind of like if you tried to watch the MCU, but you just started with Iron Man 3. You don't see how Iron Man became Iron Man. You don't see how any of the other characters on the team got on the team. You don't know anybody's backstory. It's just like, here's the team, here's Iron Man, and we have a new story we want to tell. And that can be a little bit jarring for a first-time viewer. I've said it before, guys, and I'll say it again. When it comes to movies, at least at this point in my life, I've seen so many. All that I want is to feel some emotion, feel some weight, feel some heart. And although there are some scenes in this movie that have a little bit of that, the overarching story doesn't have much heart to it. The best way that I can put it is there are a ton of scenes in this movie that I really like, but those scenes don't really have anything to do with the main plot. They're outliers. They're little human moments. A little moment here, a little moment there, a conversation here, a conversation there, but they don't have anything to do with the actual overarching story. And because of that, the story falls flat. Everything that I liked about the movie was only little parts or certain characters, but it wasn't the whole film. I don't really know how to explain it. It was the most mixed bag that I've felt in a movie in quite a while. But that's not to say that this film is not a good time. I still enjoyed myself, and I think it's above average. I think that a lot of the problems that I have with the movie can maybe be fixed on a second viewing now that I know what to expect going in, just because that first viewing was so jarring because I don't know the world that I'm stepping into and it's already been developed. It's not like the world is being developed before my eyes. It's like I just got plopped into another dimension and I'm supposed to know what's going on, and I don't. And that can be a problem at times in this film. I don't want it to sound like I'm crapping all over this movie because there are genuinely great scenes and tons of moments of fun, so I definitely think it's something that you should go out and see, especially if you're a fan of Superman. If you like Superman, you're probably going to enjoy this movie. Superman's never been my favorite character. He's a little too not grounded for me. I've always preferred the more grounded characters, but that's just me. If you like Superman, go see it. You'll probably enjoy it. But there are things about this film that I was hoping would be a little bit more clean. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and give Superman a 3.2 out of 5. I feel like I'm being kind of harsh. I don't want to be harsh because I did have a good time, but there are things that I did not like and things that I think could have been cleaner and things that I think could have been fixed. I don't know. It's just a mixed bag for me, guys. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe you will really enjoy it. I could be wrong. But it was just good. It was okay. It was just good. It was okay. It was above average. I don't know. Above average. Either way, I'm about to take a trip for 4 days out to Ohio. I will be returning on Monday, I believe. So more reviews for you guys next week. I believe Eddington comes out. I cannot wait for Ari Aster's new film. So I'll see you guys in that review.